So I'm Elina, this is Renard, and disclaim first that what we're going to present today and tomorrow is not like the polished version of years research, right? Even though it took a lot of time of our lives. Both of us were from the game studies, and one thing you should know about game studies people is that we are bored really, really fast and easily. A second, that we like to play. So what we did the last year, we play along and mess around with narrative theory, game design, and performance in order to critical approach specific questions and issues that emerge when we talk about AI and storytelling. So the two pillars that guide us was first, the fact that, of course, to create and design a rich, dynamic storytelling environment that will be character-driven and, of course, will solve the ludonarrative dissonance is the holy grail for game designers, right? And for indie game designers specific, that's even harder because they don't have the resources. Here, of course, all the AI systems and refined AI agents are here to, rescue the quest at this stage. The second, which is actually more of a question rather than a subject, is how we can collaborate with AI systems in a creative way, meaning that we all know that AI systems hallucinate, how we can actually harvest the power as a creative tool.
We did, as Elina said, we did quite a lot of playtesting. We created an adventure game in ChatGPT. We ditched it; it wasn't good. We tried to train NPCs characters in ChatGPT. We ditched it again, and eventually we managed to. We felt that something is wrong, so we said, okay, we have to go back to the sources, to the beginning, because stories, good stories, going back to Adam and Eve, the garden. And also the debate about what makes interactive stories meaningful, going back even before the 90s. So we went to an exercise from 1999. We are back in 1999. Like simulations versus narrative is very much on the table. Eric Zimmerman and Nancy Novacek create The Garden, which is kind of an interesting exercise. It's basically write a dozen of pages on cards so that when you shuffle them and draw 5, you get a coherent story every time. What a premise. 25 years later, the premise really doesn't work. Like we tested it with 60 students, MA students in courses of narrative and storytelling. Okay, there is some coherent, half of them kind of said, okay, there is some coherent structures, but there's vague, unsatisfying stories as well. And once you understand this little magic, it's kind of fading away and you get soon bored again. So we said how we can revisit the garden in 2025 with the power of generative AI. We started by applying theories from literature, Chekhov's gun, for example. You take over? And also Vonnegut, this is yours. So, and also Vonnegut shapes of stories. This is part of the tools that we are using. We are using a lot of tools from literatures. We will explain about them tomorrow. And we are trying with these tools to quickly, in real time, generate and improve random story from what is going on.
So actually, we're not here to come with solutions or either, the Holy Grail, holding the Holy Grail. We are coming with a proposal, something that you will help us hopefully tomorrow, to see how all these things, and I will talk to you about the third part of the workshop, can actually drive us and guide us to a design model, a design methodology that will actually combine narrative theory, dramaturgical design, and computational storytelling. So, sorry. So after we start working with the theories and the revisiting the Garden of Eve deck of cards, then performance art enters the room, and this is where we have to pay small attention, because what we actually are doing is not using performing arts, but performance art, which is a more free, like almost unscripted model of artistic practice that actually invites people to collaborate with the artist, with the space, with the body, and bring their experiences and their thoughts to the artistic practice. So we use this kind of approach in order to play with ChatGPT specifically, and create a cinematographic performative practice. So a lot to think about. What we're actually doing is feeding ChatGPT with specific prompts that actually creates the system, the regulations, and the mechanics, but it's broad enough in order to leave the space, free space for human and non-human interaction to happen in a free and creative way. And you will say, okay, I want to do this small anchor that, again, we go back because video games still are trying to achieve that. And we have Mari since, I think, 1999, to tell you the truth. Mari's concept of scripting the interactor, that specifically we're talking about how we can create digital experiences in where every kind of role that a player acquires happens naturally, without ever considering what is to be expected, or what is to be what's to be expected. Sorry. So it's this natural occurring interaction is what Mari's mentioning in scripting the interactor phrase. So our intention is to create the system, to create the field, and play with ChatGPT in order to see what has happened. What will happen, actually, we don't know. And this is the actually interesting part of the workshop. Thank you.